The scapula is the thin, flat, triangular bone lying the posterior lateral aspect of the thoracic cage. It is having two surfaces, three angles, three borders, and three processes. The anterior surface of the scapula is concave anteriorly in continuity with the thoracic wall. It is called the subscapular fossa. It is marked by three transverse ridges for the attachments of serratus anterior. The posterior surface is convex posteriorly and is divided into two parts, supraspinous fossa and the infraspinous fossa, by the spinous process. The supraspinous fossa and the infraspinous fossa, they communicate at the spinoglenoid notch. The three borders of the scapula involve the superior border, the medial border, and the lateral border. The lateral border is the thickest, and at the tip with the glenoid cavity, it forms the infraglenoid tubercle, with which the long head of triceps brachii is attached. The medial border is the longest and directed medially. It is having certain irregularities for the attachments of digitations of the serratus anterior. The superior border is the shortest, but at the end, at the coracoid process, it is having a small notch. It is termed the supraspinal notch. The three angles of the scapula involve the lateral angle comprising of the glenoid cavity, the superior angle directed superiorly, which is covered by the trapezius muscle, and the inferior angle, which is covered by the latissimus dorsi from its posterior aspect. The three processes of the scapula involves from the posterior surface the spinous process, which divides the posterior surface into supraspinous and infraspinous fossa. The spinous process has a triangular base and has an upper lip and a lower lip, which continues to form the acromion process laterally, which is dorsoventrally flattened. It is having a medial border and a lateral border. The atavistic epiphysis also forms the coracoid process of the scapula. The anatomical position of the scapula is such that the lateral angle will face laterally, slightly forward, and the superior angle would tilt slightly downwards. As a result, the anterior concave border would be directed forwardly and medially. The subscapular fossa provides the attachment for the muscle subscapularis in its median two-third part. The medial border provides the insertion for the digitations of the serratus anterior. The superior angle provides the insertion for the first, the medial border for the second two, and the inferior angle moving upwards provides the insertion to the final 5 digitations. Posteriorly, the supraspinous and infraspinous fossa provides the origin for supraspinatus and infraspinatus muscle. The upper lip of the spinous process provides the insertion for trapezius muscle, and the lower lip provides the attachment for the deltoid muscle. Moving along to the acromion process, the lateral border provides the attachment for the deltoid muscles, and these are the multipinnate fibers of the deltoid. Simultaneously, the medial border of the acromion process provides the insertion for trapezius. The coracoid process, which is the atavistic epiphysis, provides the origin for the short head of biceps brachii at its lateral tip. At its medial tip, it provides the origin for the coracobrachialis muscle, and more medially, it provides the insertion for the muscle pectoralis minor. The lateral angle, which bears the glenoid cavity, provides the attachment for two muscles. At its superior end, with the supraglenoid tubercle, provides the origin of the long head of biceps brachii. and with the infraglenoid tubercle provides the origin for long head of triceps brachii. The triangular base of the spinous process divides the posterior end of the median border into three parts: the part lying above, the part coinciding with the triangular base, and the part lying inferior to it. The part above the triangular base of the medial border provides the insertion for levator scapulae. The part coinciding provides the insertion for the muscle rhomboid minor, and the part inferior provides the attachment for the insertion of rhomboid major. Moving on to the lateral border, provides the origin for two major muscles, the teres minor and the teres major. The teres minor muscle forms a small slit between which the circumflex scapular artery passes through towards the scapula. The inferior angle is covered, sometimes also provides the origin for latissimus dorsi. The medial part of the acromion process provides a facet for the attachment with the clavicle. The coronoid process provides the attachment with the coracoclavicular ligament, which is attached to the conoid tubercle and the trapezoid ridge of the clavicle. Together, they form the acromioclavicular arch. The suprascapular notch is sometimes bridged by a transverse ligament. The suprascapular nerve passes inferior to the bridge, whereas the suprascapular vessels passes superior to it. Simultaneously, the spinoglenoid notch is sometimes bridged by the spinoglenoid ligament. The scapula has highly developed arterial supply with two anastomosing systems. The scapular anastomosis comprises of the circumflex scapular artery passing between the slits of the teres minor muscles. They are the branching parts of the scapular artery, which is further a branch of the third part of axillary artery. Second artery for the scapular anastomosis is the suprascapular artery. The third is the deep transverse cervical artery. The acromion anastomosis comprises of the thoracoacromion artery, a branch of second part of axillary artery. The suprascapular artery provides an acromion branch and a branch from posterior circumflex humeral artery, which is further a branch of the third part of axillary artery. Due to this well-developed anastomosing system, if the axillary artery is blocked, it finds another route, that is, the blood will find another route to transport itself. As a result, the scapulary artery anastomosing system will start to pulsate heavily and it can be visualized. Any damage or lesion to the long thoracic nerve, that is the nerve to the serratus anterior, would result in its paralysis. As a result, the action of the trapezius muscle will remain unopposed and the scapula will be elevated and lifted out. Hence, this condition is termed as winging of scapula.